Good morning. It is good to see all of you online today. I'm Karin Landsberg with the OUUC Tech Team. Welcome to all who are joining us on whatever platform you are using. This Zoom service is being recorded and it is streaming live on YouTube. We are leading worship service from several locations today, so you will see the service move back and forth between us. Most of our sharing happens in the Zoom chat box, which is not posted or shared publicly. Sorry about that. We use the chat feature for greetings, song lyrics, affirmations, and applause, and items shared from the heart. It is not a good format for critique or conversation, especially back and forth debate. Please save your comments for coffee chat or feel free to contact Reverend Mary at minister@ouuc.org. We will be turning the chat on and off during the service today. We have also enabled the automated closed captioning for those of you who would like to use it. It is easy enough to alter your settings. Find the CC button at the bottom of your screen and click it to see options. You can hide subtitles or click subtitle settings to change the text size. This feature is imperfect, especially with translating song lyrics. Feel free to hide subtitles during hymns if they are distracting. We can expect some tech glitches as we continue to do all we can to optimize our connections. If you experience any technical issues during the service, you can reach out to Joe Saline or another member of the tech team for assistance when the chat is on. We appreciate the grace, as we all remember, it's about connection, not perfection. Last, I hope you will find a candle or chalice. In a moment, we can light them together. Thank you for your grace and adaptability as we all learn together.
Good morning. Let's sing together out of the great hymn book, hymn number 368. We're going to sing Now Let Us Sing. And we're going to start just a little bit slower than we normally would, and then we'll pick up the tempo as we go along.
Good morning, and welcome to the Olympia Unitarian Universalist Congregation online worship service. The OUUC community comes together in the mutual promises and possibilities of our covenant. We commit to live out our mission to be a liberal religious community that opens minds, fills hearts, and transforms lives. We are so glad that you are here. My name is the Reverend Mary Gear, and I'm honored to serve as OUUC's minister. I use she, her pronouns. Leading worship with me today is Joe Rettenmeyer. Joe is a freshly minted minister with the UUA. He received his Master of Divinity degree from Meadville Lombard Theological School, and has lived and worked in the Salish Sea region his entire adult life. His journey in ministry is becoming twofold: to develop multicultural, interfaith, beloved community through entrepreneurial ministry aimed at reversing climate change. As I mentioned a few weeks ago, Joe was our guest speaker for our very first OUUC online service a year ago. Welcome back, Joe. Also leading worship with me today are Sarah Lewis, our Director of Community and Faith Development, and Troy Fisher, our Music Director. We give thanks for the tech team and the OUUC Media Specialist, Joe Celine, for providing technical support today. And thanks to Darlene Sarkala, our administrator, for keeping us informed and connected. And today, I also want to mention two people on the OUUC staff who don't get mentioned as much, although their contributions are so meaningful and appreciated. Marie Arnsmeyer is the facilities manager, helping to keep our buildings and grounds in great shape. And Anissa Bentlatsami is the RE assistant, helping to support the religious education of all ages. Thank you all. And thank you to the choir members in the Commons with Troy today who are helping us sing. And thanks to the many breakout room hosts who offer hospitality. We are grateful for the many hands that help make worship happen on Sunday mornings. We welcome each of you to this celebration of love and wonder and to this congregation. After the service, we invite you to stay online for a virtual coffee chat. This is a chance to gather with a small group to say hello and check in. There will be a host in each breakout room to help make sure everyone knows each other and has a chance to share. And Joe has offered some reflection questions to get the conversation started. We hope you'll stay. I want to draw your attention to the order of service, which includes our announcements available on the website. And an update, the 2021 Virtual Books, Brownies and Beans ended yesterday and was a huge success. Thank you to the many volunteers who participated in so many ways, from donating books to sorting and organizing books and putting them online. And thanks for your generosity in purchasing them. The BB&B crew thinks they'll clear about $9,000 to be donated to 2 local programs that provide services to those who are houseless. And they estimate the ongoing eBay sales will bring in another $4,000 over the course of this year. I want to offer a special thank you to the organizers of this year's BB&B event, Susan Dotson and Mo Canny. Let's give a big shout out to them for the service and commitment to this effort. Wahoo! Thank you, Susan and Mo. This evening, plan to join the full moon meditation at 7 p.m. This is a chance to meditate and reflect in community on the teachings of Thich Nhat Hanh. All are welcome and meditation experience is not required. You can find the Zoom link on the OUUC website and in the calendar. And last, this coming Thursday, our weekly spiritual practice will feature music to celebrate April Fool's Day. Join Troy Fisher and other musicians at 7 p.m. on Thursday to participate in the spiritual practice of laughter. There are many opportunities to stay connected to our community because social distancing does not mean social isolation. Please check the website regularly, and if you have questions or need help, please check in with one of us on staff. Now, let us open our hearts and minds as we prepare for worship. Welcome, everyone. It is so good to be together.
This morning and every Sunday morning, we join Unitarian Universalist congregations around the world in lighting a chalice, the symbol of our faith tradition. Please join us as we light our chalices together with these words by Jean L. Wallstrom. In this small flame dwell, the beacon light of lanterns guiding travelers home, the warmth of hearth fires tended through the generations, the transforming energy of furnaces and the power and life of our sun. May these blessings, warmth and light and life-giving energy be kindled in each of us.
Friends, there is a simple explanation for why we gather on this morning. We gather because we find faith in this religion, faith in the greater good, faith in the future. We gather because we are committed to living the beloved community into existence. As Margaret Mead so wisely taught us, never underestimate the power of a small group of committed people to change the world. In fact, it is the only thing that ever has. So come, friends, let us worship together.
And let us sing together again, hymn number 1028, The Fire of Commitment.
We are so grateful to welcome 6 new members to OUUC today. We'll now share a video of all who are seeking membership.
My name is Lorna Shevland. We moved up here 2 days before Thanksgiving, and I've always had a spiritual home, a church community. So I started looking right away online. And so I did the online search, just every kind of Protestant church, Episcopal. I looked for a Quaker church, just checking around. And then we even drove by the property, and because I wanted to check out to see where I might be going to church. And what drew me to OUU is the incredible sense of community, the sense of no dogma, but a strong covenant. And because community is just very important to me. And not having a dogma and the openness to really be a living faith allows me the space to be who I am and others to be who they are, and to honor the holy presence in each of us. And of course, the social justice agenda. So I just look forward to seeing everyone in person and hugging people again. I'm hug hungry.
Carmel, Gregory, Lorna, Haley, David, and Judith, we take this time to celebrate your commitment to membership in the Olympia Unitarian Universalist Congregation. We recognize this commitment in worship as we hold up that which is of worth, sharing our voices in song, sharing words and silence, sharing our joys and sorrows, sharing our work for justice, sharing ministry. Joining OUUC means being a part of this gathered community, speaking out on the future of our congregation, offering and receiving gifts of the Spirit, supporting others, and being supported in return. Carmel, Gregory, Lorna, Haley, David, and Judith, if you will join us in this mission and work, will you unmute yourself and say, I will?
I will.
I will.
We welcome you as new members of our community this morning. You have come to worship, play, work, and grow among us. Ours is a free fellowship. We have no creeds, and you are free to bring your ideas and beliefs to this congregation to share with others. I invite you to join with us in the religious search for meaning and purpose in life, informed by our individual beliefs and the traditions of Unitarian Universalism.
Will the members of the congregation please join me in saying the words printed in your order of service and also in the Zoom chat? We receive you with open hands and hearts. As you join us, we once again renew our own commitment to this religious community and to our shared vision, to be a liberal religious community that opens minds, fills hearts, and transforms lives. We are proud and happy to have you among us. Welcome.
We come together in covenant, making mutual promises to be generous, responsive, engaged, responsible, direct, honest, and loving. We are called to this covenant and by each other to be willing to transform ourselves into the community that we desire to be. Thank you for creating community for this journey together. Welcome. We came together in community this morning, bringing all all that is in our lives. In this space, we draw on our commitment to each other to listen deeply and hold all that we bring here with us. If you would like to send in something to be shared, please look for the link on the online worship page on the OUUC website or send me an email and we'll bring it into the service next week. In this space, we share from our hearts what brings us joy and sorrow, what brings us worry and delight, what makes us afraid and what makes us dance. Let's open our hearts to the complexity of our lives, our own and others. You will hear a drum beat as we share today. It brings into our awareness that our individual hearts beat, and together we create the heartbeat of our community. Right now, I invite us to take a deep breath together, in and out, as we open our hearts to receive the complexity of all that is in our lives and community today. In the wake of another mass shooting in the past few weeks, we once again send out prayers and condolences to the families, friends, and communities affected. Because we are all connected, all of us are affected. May we grieve together, and may our grief fuel our work for the systems changes needed to create more safety for everyone. Sarah Lewis's father-in-law, Fred Romero, passed away on Friday, coming to the end of his journey with cancer. Fred was known to many of you through the hiking group and other community connections. His wife, Sandra, welcomes cards at this time. If you don't have their address, you can send cards to Sarah at the church, and she will deliver them. Sarah, may you and your family know that you are held in our love. I invite you now to share from your heart by entering in the chat box on your screen. This is a time to share all that you wish, joys and sorrows and whatever else is shared from your heart. As we take in what is posted, let's hear the heartbeat of our community and reach out our hearts in love and care to all those who share. I place a stone in the water for all that has been shared from the heart. A stone holding the complexity of our lives, held in the water of community. And one more stone in the water for all that we hold in our hearts and that remains unspoken. I invite you now into a time of reflection, prayer, and meditation. Infinite web of life, spirit of love, vast mystery, cycle of life. There are times when words are not enough and may not even come. Times of violence, times of death, times of grief. For some of us, these are those times. In the Christian tradition, this is Holy Week, honoring Jesus' last days, filled with preaching, teaching, organizing, blessing, and yes, suffering. Next Sunday, we will celebrate the sunrise and joy of Easter. This week, we seek the holy in the complexity of life and death. It is as true now as it was in Jesus' time. And this is also a time of renewal and hope. In the Jewish tradition, this week is Passover, celebrating the release of the ancient Hebrew people from slavery. This week, we seek the holy in liberation and freedom. It is as true now as it was in ancient times. This week, may we find moments of the holy in whatever form it arises, a daffodil, a sparkle in someone's eye, a moment of shared silence, a last word. And may our hearts and minds be open to embrace the holy when it appears, for it will, if we but notice. In gratitude for all that is sacred, for this community and gathering, and for the cycle of life itself, we pray. Blessed be. Amen. Let's hold a moment of silence together.
Let's sing together hymn number 1002, Comfort Me.
Comfort me,
prayers and meditations deepen our gratitude for what we know as sacred in our lives and in this world. Each Sunday, we express our gratitude by joining together in service to our community and to something greater than ourselves. The offering collected here does two things. It supports the ongoing work of OUUC, which is also supported by your regular pledges. This offering also supports an organization that serves our community in harmony with our Unitarian Universalist values. For the months of March and April, our Share the Plate recipient is GRUB, Garden Raised Bounty. GRUB is a nonprofit organization working at the intersection of food, education, and health systems to grow healthy food, people, and communities. We have a video to share about their work.
I'm Mariana Harvey, and I'm the Wild Foods and Medicines Program Coordinator. And we are excited to share about our Wild Foods and Medicines program with you. We offer educational resources, monthly community classes, teacher trainings, and tribal internships that connect people with local plants, places, and cultural traditions. Our 10 Gather and Grow toolkit is intended for K through 12 teachers and community educators with a focus on serving Northwest Native and regional youth. The toolkit explores native trees, including identification, Salish tree stories, how trees are used for food, medicine, and traditional technologies, and especially what trees can teach us about being resilient in challenging times.
An example of that is the Douglas fir. Douglas fir has really thick bark. We call it groovy bark. And it's amazing at adapting in many different environments and through climate change. And so that thick bark helps protect it from fire and heat and cold. And it also makes its own medicine in the form of pitch, which is medicine for us. And so this spring, we're working on putting together a toolkit for families and for teachers that covers tree communities and has lots of games and identification tools and information about what trees can teach us. And so we'll be distributing about 300 to tribal communities and also through the Green Congress, which is happening in March in Olympia. And so please visit us on our website, goodgrub.org, to learn more about our program and look at our resources. And we thank you so much for your support.
Please note that you can participate in the offering by making a donation online through the church website or by texting the number that will appear on your screen in just a moment. You can also mail a check to OUUC. Our community partners continue to need our financial support. May the offering now be generously given as it is gratefully received.
The sound of one who makes the
Beautiful. And thank you for your generous gifts, friends. Our reading today comes from His Holiness the Dalai Lama, from his book, A Call for Revolution, A Vision for the Future. You must stand up to the willful opposition to knowledge that is at large today, which is fraught with danger, where hatred, selfishness, violence, greed, and fanaticism are threatening the very future of life on earth. I know that you have the persistence and strength to take on the future, and that you will succeed in drawing a line under the willed ignorance that you have inherited. My young friends, you are my hope for humanity. I want to state it loudly and clearly so that you hear and respond to my message. I am confident in the future, for you have the capacity to lead humanity towards a renewed form of fraternity, justice, and solidarity. Friends, it's been 1 year since the pandemic stopped our in-person gatherings together as a beloved community and brought shutdowns and masks and distancing in order to save as many lives as possible. And before this emergency ends within our nation's borders, we will have lost more lives to this virus than were lost in all of our wars of the 20th century combined. 1 year ago, we were blindsided by the rapidly transmitting virus and the catastrophic future it foretold. And now that we are 1 year into the future since then, the entirety of humankind has some experience of how exhausting 1 year can be for mind, body, and spirit. We've had to strive to maintain balance in our health and our hope and our families. Drawing on the Dalai Lama's words, we've strived to renew our collective fraternity, or in another word, our collective union, with justice and solidarity to deliver ourselves from social turmoil, illness, and death of staggering proportions. Every one of us can now think of several people who have suffered or passed away from COVID-19. So many of us are suffering grief over the loss of loved ones, loss of livelihoods, loss of in-person relationships that had sustained us. And all the while that this nightmare has been playing out, there is one particular ray of inspiration that has been keeping my hope in the greater good of humankind alive. It's the intensely committed research and development and mission in medicine across every country of the world, all at the same time. No one of us alive today has ever witnessed such stunning speed of carrying out such a gargantuan mission. Think about this, friends. Every single one of us, 8 billion humans, struggling to live interdependently and wholesomely on this planet, every one of us has played a crucial role in our most gargantuan mission to save our neighbors, our loved ones, ourselves from a future of cataclysmic death. That is not hyperbole, friends. 1 year ago this week, with a never before known virus spreading through the air we share and the surfaces we touch with astonishing speed throughout all societies on Earth, the future of our entire species truly seemed cataclysmic. Unless we set aside our individual pride and selfishness and accepted the mission to stop the virus by simply changing 3 simple behaviors. Wear a mask, stay 6 feet apart, cleanse our hands. And we were relieved rapidly, thanks to a relatively small but global group of committed scientists and physicians. All of humankind created a new path forward that just might save us, as strange and new as it was to us. A small group of leaders and experts broke the news that these simple life-saving behavior changes were not optional. It was required that all of us immediately cooperate and organize ourselves and our societies if we were going to save ourselves from damaging illness and death. And now, this spring, thank Spirit, thank the God of our understanding, thank groups of faithfully committed people, we are gaining access to the medicinal cures and therapies to protect our bodies. This spring, still early and tender in its blooming, we are beginning to bloom ourselves and heal our families, our communities, one arm at a time. Arms helping arms, arms infusing arms with the cure throughout the world. Right now, this very day, we are beginning to move out of that gargantuan global death threat toward a gargantuan global hope. This day, we can have hope again for our global future. Are you feeling it? Scientific medical research and development by a relatively small group rose to this never before known challenge. They have unfailingly led us to change simple behaviors, while other small groups of scientists raced to create and produce a medicinal cure. Never underestimate the power of a small group of committed people to change the world. In fact, it is the only thing that ever has. Amen to that, Margaret Mead. That is not hyperbole. We now know you speak truth. Friends, will our future continue to be shaped by the pandemic stories we have lived, the visions for healing and interdependent balance we have prayed for so fervently? The future of our spiritual well-being, wholeness, wholesomeness depends on our ability to remedy the stories we form about this shared global experience with the future of liberation we desire. In just 1 year, the entirety of humankind adapted our behaviors to save lives with a faith that our collective future of wellness would be made real. I have learned from teachers and philosophers wiser than I that everything we humans create in the world, for worse or for better, first takes shape in our minds. Everything first forms as thoughts and visions in our minds, then becomes real through the structures and systems and solutions we commit to building. If our pandemic response this past year is not proof of that, I don't know what is. During this blessed spring season of new growth, do you feel your soul once again gaining some room for tending to the balance of body, mind, and spirit? Have you noticed that when you don't tend to wholesomeness of mind, body, and spirit the way you wish to, that what you create in the world tends to be careless or chaotic? When we organize mind, body, spirit around a vision or goal, you in turn organize the whole living system that is you, your physical action, your thoughts, your emotions, your energies. Without even doing any busyness, each of us can manifest the goals we want. And it begins by organizing the energies, body, emotions, and thoughts that are who you are. When we align mind, body, spirit in the ways we wish to, we begin to experience a foundation of faith in the vision or goal that, in turn, can create what we build in the world. One significant challenge that I experience in this spiritual self-care life balance is this: suffering from body, mind, and spirit continually choosing different directions. Yes, it's as if we're wanting to travel toward a destination as a group, but every few steps we allow ourselves to get distracted into another direction. Our quest to reach that particular destination, that particular vision of all the future can hold for all living beings, seems to have become more difficult in recent years. Thanks to all the technology we have created to try to make life easier, more beautiful. The spiritual work here, the practice, is to organize our mind, body, spiritual and emotional and mental energies into an overarching direction. And anything we wish to happen can then happen. What I experience is that through faithful spiritual practice, our thoughts, emotions, words, our overall spiritual energy can become organized through some wholesome self-discipline. Because when they're not organized or oriented, we tend to create systems and things that are destructive. For example, as I've said, all the technologies that we've created to make life easier and more wholesome also seem to threaten the future fulfillment that we seek, because it can distract us from living each day with a fulfilling sense of balance. I've come to understand, maybe you have too, that committing the mind's visions toward an organized goal can fundamentally move us out of a state of unfulfilling, compulsive activity and into a state of fulfilling, conscious activity. Let's breathe on that one. A state of fulfilling conscious activity. In all the future holds, what conscious activity, what simple changes in behavior will once again be required of all of us to pursue our collective liberation work, our collective religious work, spiritual work. As the Dalai Lama has observed, each of us has the capacity to lead humanity towards a renewed form of union, justice, and solidarity. Friends, I want to ask you to call to mind teachers of yours, teachers of spirituality whom you admire, who have held faith in all our future can hold, in the gods of their understanding, faith in philosophies or organizations or missions, whatever the quest may be. Call to mind and heart someone you admire for their faith in a wholesome, positive vision. Right now, breathe in. A mind that is not consumed by unfulfilling, will it happen or will it not happen thought. Who influenced that in you? And who influenced instead a mind that you admired for their faith in creating the future we desire? Then call to mind a time in your own mind, body, spirit when you've had faith in a group goal or mission and have organized your personal beliefs or thoughts to all that that particular future held. Calling that to mind. Friends, I've taken these breathing moments to call these people and experiences forth, because can you think of any better creation than this? You, my friend, are the creator. The spirit of life within you, that spirit of loving faith in all that life has to offer today, tomorrow, and the next day, and the next, that faith is wonderful and well. And as spring comes to life all around you, consider this surprisingly simple way of being that a particular teacher of mine once shared with me. Avoid committing mind, body, spirit to a life that is not happening the way you think it can happen. Instead, practice committing mind, body, spirit toward visions and missions your faith desires. Then act on the faith foundations you've organized yourself around. Act on them with groups of people organized towards similar visions. So, organize all of who you are toward missions which are larger than yourself, so all the future holds may happen in ways you believe it can happen. May it be so, friends. Let's return to a breath and silence together, perhaps setting our own intention for the week ahead after all that we've learned and shared this morning. May it be so.
Let's sing together hymn number 10, Immortal Love. Hymn number 10. Immortal love forever.
friends, as we close our worship this morning, let us extinguish our chalices. May we use the precious breath of our lives to extinguish these flames. May we vow to hold their warmth in our souls. May we never underestimate the fire of our commitment as we go forth together in peace.
Let's sing together our unison benediction.
Please stay online if you'd like to join in virtual coffee and conversation. You'll see an invitation pop up that will invite you to join a breakout room. Please introduce yourself to anyone you don't know, and thank you for building community today.